Yes.
It happens in the West. That mentality must actually go. Is to show that regardless of who you are and where you come from, your brain is not governed by that. You can succeed. And many of my students come from very, very rural areas. And so when you plant one rural person in a village, you are actually transforming that village. But when they get back, they should be humble. You know, after people they get PhD, they now talk differently. You have to continue to be humble and educate others. Yes. So this is my greatest mission. It's to take young people away from the mentality that it cannot be done. Yes, it can be done.
Oh, wow, Prof. And I think there's something that we've noted that we found very special, Prof. And we want to talk to the research that you've been doing into cancer treatment and the advances that you've made in developing photodynamic therapy as an alternative to your chemotherapy. Now, we know chemo is something that you will go to, and I'll speak from a layman's perspective, that you'll go into and come out not well, having side effects that are basically debilitating and cause you to be unable to function. But now as we read the profile on the work that you were doing, it was just telling us about how this treatment is more targeted, more focused on addressing the actual cancer cells and not affecting anything else in the body.
You know, when I was younger, I actually wanted to introduce this treatment to the whole country. I had made the hospital in Cape Town was ready for me.
Wow.
The National Laser Center had provided lasers for me.
Wow.
The medical doctors, it was then Mdntv. You remember Mdntv?
Yes, Mdntv.
Yeah, the oncologists, they were going to. So I had mobilized lots of people. Why? Because at that time, it wasn't COVID, it was AIDS killing us.
Yes.
So with AIDS, there comes a lot of cancer on the skin cancer. It's very easy to treat. Rather than go to chemotherapy on the cancer on the skin, they look like this. You take some of this. What is this anyway? You take some of this. You can just put it on the cancerous cell, shine light in any location, and then it will just kill that area where you have put this on.
Just by applying that solution?
Just you apply that solution onto the cancerous cells, then you put a laser light, is more focused onto that area only.
Yes.
And then voila. Wow. The patient goes home and then be cured. The problem was that the laws in the country are not aimed at us. The Medical Controls Council likes to do clinical trials. They don't trust us to develop our own. We need to trust us and trust our scientists. So what happens is that they like to get medicine already approved by FDA and then apply it here.
Yes.
For us to apply to get the protocols, I actually had protocols. I was working with Russia.
Yes.
People think Russia is an enemy, not to me. I was working with Russia. And they actually came here because before you test it on the people, you've got to test it on animals. Sorry to say this, if people are animal rights. Russia had already done that, and they had actually provided me with their studies so that we can go on and introduce into South Africa. But approval took so long, I gave up.
Wow. So up to this point, you are saying...
I'm no longer doing it, I'm tired. I'm giving it, the young people should do it.
And you are saying even at this point, it still hasn't been approved?
No, the protocols that Russia gives, protocols don't last too long. Protocols is after the tests have been done on animals. They last 2 years. So they expired before they can approve.
Wow.
So we have to start again.
Wow, and we're not taking advantage of this possibly life-changing opportunity to develop this.
I think because we do not trust ourselves. We don't believe in ourselves. We don't believe that somebody just like me can develop something. No, we have a problem. We don't trust ourselves.
But what do you advise then, Prof, in a situation like this, from a perspective of someone who's fought so hard over such an extended period of time trying to get things like this right? What do you advise?
At the moment, I don't think we can only change the mentality. But what I've realized is that some things can be done quickly We have used our drugs where it's azole to treat some of the municipal water. So that you can do without applying the rules. It still does what I want to do, to show young people that you can do something. Another thing that we did, we were Department of Defense, together with AMSCO and CSIR, had asked us to develop films. Because have you seen maybe you haven't seen, when planes land, maybe not at OR Tamil because it's too far. When planes land, they shine lasers on them. You've seen that. To direct them. Not to direct them, to make sure that they blind the pilot. Oh. So it's worse in the military. Because their runways are shorter and so on. So they asked us to do that. That is ready for production. But you see, we are not a production team here. We are, when you train these young people, you train them from the beginning. They must have fresh ideas, not just produce. Production should be done by somebody else. Yes. That's why we are working with Mdntv now for more production of some of these things, yes.
So you're not working with your CSIRs as well? Because I think this is also their space.
It is also their space. CSIR, I have an issue with them. They are concentrating on the big city people. They forget us, the small.
So there's no focus.
But Mdntv is with us.
Oh, okay. They're working well.
Yeah, we have just signed a contract for 3 years with them.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. So let's talk about these young people that you are training and imparting all of this knowledge to, Prof. How can they then take the work forward, considering the obstacles that you faced over such an extended period of time?
Yes, some of them have shown interest. Actually, they've been trained by what we call TIA, technology. TIA is technology, something transfer, something. It's something set up by government to take research from the lab into production. TIA, technology, I forgot what it is. It's an agency at the end. So they have lots of money to do that. So TIA is training people on that, on doing that. Some of them have started their own companies.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
developing this research into production.
Not the medical one. The medical one is very, very difficult.
Yes.
The fibers one.
Yes.
There's something called the Tebello nanofiber company. Okay. I don't know if you've heard about it. They use the fibers for different applications. Funny enough, during COVID, they started putting them in the masks.
All these fibers?
The fibers like that one.
The very same fibers that you are using to purify water?
Yes.
Okay.
They can be used for different applications.
Okay.
Stellenbosch nanofiber company is owned by somebody, but half of the team is my students who are starting that company.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow, and they're doing all of this work. Now, Prof, maybe let's just talk about the water situation. We had a bit of a conversation coming in here about the water. And water is being rationed here, you don't have water.
I think they're cheating us. I don't, because they started saying it because of load shedding. There's no load shedding, they're still rationing the water. They are lying to us. Tell them.
What do you think could be the problem, Prof?
There was a time it didn't rain for a long time.
Yes.
I understand that.
Yes.
The dams were empty. Probably they are still not full capacity. The levels are not. I don't really understand why 2 days off. It used to be 1 day off. 2 days it was because of load shedding. I don't know why it's 2 days off. Really, I don't. Yes. Maybe I don't follow the news very much. Yes. But don't forget about the small cities. Don't forget about the small towns. You know, when Cape Town didn't have water, I was overseas. People were talking about it. When we don't have water, no one cares.
Wow. So, Prof, just a quick one on. Let's talk about institutions like the Department of Water and Sanitation.
Yes.
They've got a multitude of challenges in terms of providing clean, proper quality water. And here's a technology which, when explained, doesn't seem to be rocket science. It just seems to be an application that needs to be produced on a mass scale and then sent out there to go and do the work. Where is the relationship between yourselves as researchers and them as an agent that must implement these strategies?
They said 2 days off, 1 day on.
2 days without water?
Without water completely.
And how is your facility functioning? Because I assume you use a lot of water.
You use buckets, right?
Same there, we pull up make like a little reservoir.
The students have learned. There are tanks outside with water. So the students have learned to do you collect them outside or when there is water they fill? You fill up. Yeah. So it's even worse for us here in Ramsabati because we are small, no one cares.
Yeah. And we are doing such important work. Wow.
Yes. This one is doing PhD.
Okay.
Emihle is doing MSc.
Okay.
I was teaching him how to be rude yesterday. Cassidy is doing MSc.
Yes, bro.
Yes. Yeah. But there are about 40 of us. I don't know where we are. I don't know where they are. There are 40 students.